July is done, and it took me a few extra days to get our budget report put together, but it is finished up and I am ready to share. So you're going to want to stick around to see our July 2022 zero-based budget report for this family of 3 in the Midwest. Hi friends, and welcome to the Budget Bounce. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen, and we talk all about living life on a budget, saving for our future, paying down our debt, and all the life that happens along the way. If those are things you're interested in, you're going to want to stick around and hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you get notifications every time I post a new video. So it's time to talk about our July 2022 budget report and how we did. If you have been around and seen my more recent videos, you know that we had a lot of unexpected things happen in July. I'll be going through some of that, and there is carryover into August. So I won't be reporting on the rest of it until the August budget report. But for now, let's focus on July and see how we did with our plan versus what actually happened. So let's jump on over to the spreadsheet and have a look.
Here is our budget spreadsheet that we use every single month. This is a spreadsheet that started in Excel in 2018, and it has evolved quite a bit, and I moved it into Google Sheets, I think at the beginning of 2021. And it's just evolved over time to meet my needs. I'm a very detail-oriented person when it comes to tracking everything, and so this has got a lot of information in it. If you're new here and this is the first time you're seeing this, I do this because these are things that I need to be able to have the visibility that I need to keep everything straight. So we're going to focus today on the actual and the over-under columns, and then there's some additional columns when we get down to the bottom. But you can see here right away, our income was higher by $1,000 than our basic income was higher by $1,000 than what we planned, because we got some additional rent money this month. So when you look here, we planned on $11,150 total, including what we were going to pull in from sinking funds. You can see we pulled a lot more in than we planned. We had that extra $1,000 from rental income, plus we had a little bit of FSA reimbursement, and we had a yard sale and made some money that went into our vacation fund. So that brought our total to $13,438, which is $1,702 more than what we planned. So our bucket was a little bit bigger than what we originally planned on. I do black out our salaries, that's one piece of private information that we don't share the details, but we have no problem sharing the totals. And this, if you're interested, this spreadsheet, by the way, is available in my Etsy shop. I sell it in both the Excel and the Google formats. So you're welcome to take a look over there. It's got a lot more information about what's going on over here off screen that you can't see. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, just check it out. I always include my Etsy shop link in the description of every video. Moving on to giving, we ended up doing $50 in giving for the month. And then in housing, we had $2,725 for the mortgages, $261 for utilities, the monthly utilities for here for gas and electric. I thought they were going up in July, but they're not actually going up until we pay in August. And then we did have water, garbage, sewer that we paid in July for $234. And then internet was $122 and mobile services $153, bringing our total to $3,497, which is $179 more than we originally planned. In transportation, we spent a whopping $754 on gas. Now, you can see we budgeted $300, and that I talked about this a little bit when we were setting up August. We have it's a little emotional. We have had a tragedy in our family. Matt's niece, she is only, I think she's 45, and she passed away from after her battle with cancer for the last, I think it's been 3 years. She just passed away yesterday, actually. And every weekend throughout the month of July, starting on July 2nd, Matt traveled down to St. Louis to be with her and to be with his sister, to just be with his family. and help through this really, really hard time. She has been in a nursing home facility that has a hospice wing. She lost her battle yesterday and is at peace, and we are relieved for that. It was an awful, she hung on for a long time. It was just awful to watch her suffer and the family suffer, but she is at peace now, and we are very, very happy about that. So we will be making another trip next weekend, I believe, for the funeral. And that would be 6 trips in 7 weeks that we've made down there. So anyhow, that is why gas was $754, because those trips are at least 500 miles round trip. And then there's other driving that's going on when he gets there back and forth to various places. So $754 for gas. And the reason why we didn't plan for this was because we found out on June 30th, after our July budget was already set up, we found out on June 30th that she was going into hospice. And so here we are. So we budgeted a lot more in August, because we didn't know how long we were going to be doing this, but we're going to do it as long as it takes, because Matt needed to be with his family. So we had $24 for OnStar. We did have $185 in repairs for the Lucerne, and so that brought the total to $964, which was $639 more than we planned. Groceries, food, same story. So groceries, we were a little over at $775, but we were way over in dining. Again, that has to do with the travel, $548. So that brought our total to $1,324, which was $424 over. We didn't have any activity with the kiddos this month. And the kiddos include our children and our granddaughter. So anytime we have something that I want to make sure that I record, I put it in this section here. And then in pets, we spent $98 on food, $19 on grooming, nothing on meds, and $126 on other supplies. And that brought the total to $244, which was $99 over plan. Now, next up is insurance, and it is one thing that's pretty steady. We didn't have any changes beyond what we expected. So I'll just go over the totals here. $939 was what we planned, and we spent $937, which was actually a little bit under what we planned. In entertainment, we had $36 in streaming, $4 in HP Inc., $21 for our Cinemark. Oh, actually, that should only be $10. I'm sorry, I must have recorded it twice by accident. $10 for Cinemark for sure, and then $85 for family entertainment, and that was because one of the trips that Matt made, we went with him, and we being Henry and I, went with him, and we decided to go to a movie and out to dinner. And so I just made that family entertainment for that. So it was $147 total in entertainment, which was $67 more than what we planned. In health, we planned on $514 for flexible spending, and that's what it was. Same thing with gym was $33. Healthcare, we had another $120 bill that needed to be paid, so $667 was the total, and it was $120 more than what we planned. In extras, we had our Carbonite subscription renewal was $83. And in image, so I splurged. Now we have sinking funds for all of these things. I think all of this was paid for by a sinking fund. But this $180 in image was something that I decided to do. I actually, so I go and get my hair cut every 10 weeks, and I get my eyebrows done when I go, and waxed when I go. And I take care of it in between myself. And this time I decided to get my hair highlighted. And I had not done that it's been 18 or 19 years since I've done anything with color in my hair of any sort. So that trip was, with tip, $180. And then at Lowe's, we spent $101, and that was for some things to help with chimney repair at the other house. And then there was $163 in clothes total for the month, bringing it to $529. So extras, this is kind of like miscellaneous things that don't fall into any other category. And yes, I have a miscellaneous category here, but these things in extras are miscellaneous things that I want to call out and be able to see. Whereas these miscellaneous things down here, I don't necessarily need to see all that detail. It's off to the right where you can't see it, but some of it I want to see in here in the budget and others I don't care. So these are the things that I care about. I wanted to be able to see them, so I recorded them in extras. And almost all the time when we have this, we almost always have sinking funds to help cover that. And that's what they're there for, is to help us with things like we didn't know we were going to need to be doing more of the chimney repair. So we have a home maintenance fund and we pulled $100 out of that to help pay for this. In miscellaneous, we have personal spending. There was only $18 on actual personal. And I think, so the double entry up at the top should have, that other $10.69 for Cinemark should have gone down here. So really it was around $30 for personal spending. And then household, we spent $83 and all other miscellaneous was $371. Some of that is tied to the travel. Some of it is not. So the total was $473 and we were over by $213. Moving on to, I don't know why this X is here, sorry. Moving on to savings, we did not put anything into our emergency fund and our total balance at the end of the month was $4,859. We did do $15 in investments, and I had said when I set up July that we weren't going to do that anymore, but I wasn't quick enough at getting it stopped before Acorns took a couple of withdrawals. So anyhow, that's how we ended up with $15, but we won't have any of that anymore going forward. So our total for the year is $350 that we've put into investments. We put $100 into college savings, $611 into retirement, and that brings our total to $726 for savings. And when you look over here at our balances, so this is our emergency fund, $4,859 is the total. It's an ongoing, up and down as we add to it and have to use it and that kind of thing. But these three rows, these are cumulative for the year. I always reset them in January because I want to see how much we put in that year. This is not our total by any means. These are all a lot higher than that. Next up is sinking funds, and we have a bunch of them. So if you're new here, I like to keep lots of detailed information about our sinking funds. And so this is a psychological thing for me, and it's an accountability thing for me. But let's just run down and look and see how much we actually put in. So we put $170 into auto insurance, $20 into auto registrations, nothing to Bug's account. And Bug is our granddaughter, by the way. $15 to business travel for Matt. He works for the state, and if he has to travel for work, then he is going to have to pay up front for any expenses, and then they will reimburse him. We just want to put something in here and build this up a little bit so that we have some money available and it doesn't impact our budget if that comes up. City utilities, this is saying that we put in $200. I do believe that's correct. We did $35 into clothing, $15 into entertainment, nothing into estate planning, $40 to gifts, $40 to healthcare, nothing to Henry, nothing to holidays this month, $150 to home maintenance, $40 to image and cosmetics, $81 to our life insurance, which is separate from the insurance up above. This is an individual policy that we pay annually. $50 to online subscriptions, $100 to pet expense, nothing to technology, $293 to travel and vacation, $150 to vehicle repairs and maintenance, which I changed to auto. I'm in the middle of transitioning these, so sorry for the confusion. And then wedding, we didn't put anything, wedding anniversary, we didn't put anything in here, and Xanthi, we didn't put anything in, and the total is $1,399 for the month went into our sinking funds. All right, now here we are looking at our debt category. We have so many debts that we have to break it into 3 different sections. This is the only way that I was able to keep track of everything. We have over 40 debts total that I am keeping track of here. And so this first section are all the debts that we've already paid off in full. They are totally done. And that they total $56,854. Now you'll see here there's different colored font, and that is because some of them are in Matt's name only, and those are the things that are in black font. And the other things that are in pink had either my name only or my name was also on them. And so anything that had my name on it, I just made it pink. And that was because Matt wanted to distinguish between the things that were his only and the things that were mine or ours from the very beginning when we started all of this. And this is how I did it because I couldn't remember all the time. So $56,854 is paid off. And then we have this next charged off section. $5,476 is the total here. These are all old credit cards of Matt's that we are not dealing with right now. They've been sold off to collections and stuff. We are just not going to deal with them right now just because they're not accruing any fees or interest or anything. They're not even owned by the original creditor. The hits already come and, on the credit report. And yes, it continues to stay there. But I mean, we just have our focus elsewhere. So Matt's whole thing was he wanted to try to salvage my credit score through this because I had a stellar credit score going into our mess that we landed in 2017 and 2018, which led to us living life on a budget again and me starting all of this. And so we just put these here in this section. They're kind of like in a holding pattern. We're not doing anything with them. But let's talk about our actively paying section here. So in here we have child support and we paid $456 to this one, $90 to this credit card and $80 to this credit card, $91 to this child support. And then Capital One, this is another credit card, we paid $50. This student loan is a private student loan, we paid $50, $550 to the car payment, $205 to the HELOC, $599 to our active visa, nothing to graduate student loans, and $300 to the family loan, and nothing to undergrad student loans, bringing our total debt payments to $2,473. Now, before I get down here into all this stuff in the dark purple, I just want to go over here and show we had a starting balance of debt this month of $160,513. We did have to pay $342 in interest. So our total debt balance at the end of the month is $158,392. So that's where we landed. And so this number encompasses all of these plus all of these. So it grabs this number and it grabs, and that's it. I'm sorry. That's it because it doesn't grab the stuff at the top. So $158,932 is our current debt balance. Now let's take a look at our totals here and see how we did. Our total expenses were $13,435 and our total income was $13,438, leaving us with about $2 left over for the month. We just leave it in there. We don't worry about getting to zero. This was at zero. I don't know what change I made throughout the month. Sometimes I have to make changes at the very beginning of the month and, to adapt. And then this gets thrown off. This is not where it was when we set out in July, but that's where it landed. So our original debt balance. So when we originally started this in February of 2018, we had $255,493. Now, since then, we have either found additional debts because we knew we did not have all of them at the time that we started our budget in February of 2018. I just had to get started with what I had. And so that's what we did. We just dove in with what we knew and we added to it and updated it as we moved along. Throughout that, we found a few other debts, plus we have added some additional debt. Like, not that we found it, but we actually added new debt to the mix. And all of that has totaled $43,217. So that makes our total non-mortgage consumer debt $298,711. This month, we have killed off totally $2,121. So what that is our total debt payments minus the interest that we had to pay. So $2,121 in principal was killed off, and our total paid to date is $140,318. So we had another $10,000 milestone, which is amazing. Let's take a look at the totals that I have here. 47% of our total debt, and it's not starting, our total debt has been paid off, 47%. This 43.5% is showing that that's how much of our regular salaries that we allocated towards debt. It's not all of the income in the bucket that we had to work with, but based on our income for the month, the salaries that came in, we used 43.5% for debt. So we are moving along slowly. You do see here that we have a $508 negative on child support, and that is because it is officially done being paid, and they have sent us the official notification saying that we're done, and they will send us a reimbursement check. And of course, it's the state, and it's going to be a while before we're going to see it, but we are going to get a reimbursement, and we have plans for what we're going to do when we do that, assuming that life doesn't throw us any curveballs that we need to be dealing with. So yeah, that one will be done. So when I do the August report, this one is going to be moved off of this section out of actively paying, and it will get moved up to the top in the paid off. And this number is going to jump significantly because this child support was in the 20,000s. I can't remember how much it was when we started, but it had the highest balance by far. So yeah, that was our July. We had some unexpected things come up, and part of budgeting is you have to be able to adapt and to bounce back. And we had something else happen in July, and that was that our refrigerator died on us towards the end of July. In the middle of all these things that are going on with our family and all the travel that's happening and the fact that Matt's gone every weekend and all of that, our refrigerator died. And I actually did a post on my Facebook page, the Budget Bounce Facebook page, about it that has gotten tons of views because the question was, are you prepared for life to happen? And we had a whole lot of life happening. The travel and the grief and all of the things that come with, losing a family member, and that was happening. And then we had this so that was both emotional and financial. And then we have the fact that our refrigerator died. And so this is also emotional and financial differently. So financial, obviously, because we needed to find another solution, but it was emotional in that we lost a whole bunch of our food, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because for 24 hours I was not around and nobody noticed that our refrigerator was not cooling. And so everything, and the freezer too, everything thawed. Everything. And so anything that was perishable was lost. So we have to restock everything, along with figuring out how we're going to actually cool our food. So we had to move pretty quickly, and there were huge changes happening in our budget because of this. So a lot of that's all going to be reflected in August. So because really all of that hit at either the very end of the month or the money didn't get moved until the beginning of August, whatever. So I'm going to report on all of that in August. But my point is that having an emergency fund, having these sinking funds, they are really important to us and to anyone's success in budgeting, because if you don't have something that will help you pivot in moments of financial crisis, you're going to end up backpedaling and possibly reaching for that credit card that you still have and putting an emergency on a credit card. And you don't want to do that. We managed to not do that for over 3 years. We did not take on, and we didn't have any new non-mortgage consumer debt at all for 3 years. There are other videos that talk about why we ended up adding new credit card debt, which it was all very emotional, and it was over a period of time and whatnot. But we didn't have to go to a credit card this time to take care of this. We actually were able to pay cash for what we needed. And it's because we had the cash on hand. It's a little more complicated than that because we were moving all of our funds from one online bank to another one. So it was kind of in limbo. I moved everything the day before, and now we need a new refrigerator. So it was a little hairy, but we got through it. And it's because we have these things built in. Now, the other thing is we were able to still pay a little bit more on our credit card, the new credit card debt that we are paying on. So even with all the things that were happening, we managed to do that. And we do have a really substantial income. I totally get that. And I understand the privilege that we have with that. And we were not doing a very good job of balancing that for some time, and we are trying to get back to where we need to be so that we are not incurring more credit card debt again. So that was kind of a deep conversation. I feel like I should probably do those earlier in the video rather than later, but for those of you that are still here, I appreciate you sticking around and hearing me out and all the things that are going on with us. And know that I am here and I am rooting for you, for your success as well, even if we aren't doing well. And there have been a lot of months when we weren't doing well. Even if we weren't doing well, I am always cheering for you guys because it's so inspiring to watch others continue to win. And if you have some wins that you want to share, I'm sure they will inspire me and also others if you want to share them in the comments. So go ahead and leave them down below. And if you're struggling with anything, this community is here to help uplift people as well. So if you have a struggle that you're trying to overcome financially, please leave it in the comments and we'd love to hear from you. That was our July 2022 budget. I hope that everything went well for you guys. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time.